Welcome, one and all. Welcome back to The Hop with Gabe and Steven, the craft beer podcast where we make craft beer fun, informative, inclusive, and entertaining. My name is Steven Humes, here with Gabriel Apria.
Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Round 132. Oh my God, we're back. Another great Thirsty Thursday. Steven and I are here, and if you couldn't tell from our lovely photos, we're going to shoot. There it is.
Deschutes.
We're going to Deschutes.
Deschutes
Very
Brewery.
exciting. Yes.
Yeah. First of all, happy 2023, one and all. This is our first episode of the new year.
And that whole thing happened where a new year came in.
Yeah, it's a new, same shit, different day, really. But
pretty much, yeah.
It's year 4 of the Hop officially, which is amazing, and we're
Yay!
Yay, indeed. And we're going to Deschutes, it's truly amazing to me that it's taken this long to get here. Like, they've come up a lot over the years.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's one of those that's like, really, we haven't done them yet, and then we check the tape, and it's like, no, they're still available.
I feel like it was mostly maybe news and notes. It was never like, Christmas episode, we did one of their Christmas beers. It was always like word of mouth mention. And now we're finally giving them their due. I had to go to Pennsylvania to get the beer, but I was in town. So 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm ready to roll. And let's do the damn thing.
So if you're new here, what we do is we drink beer and we have fun. That's basically the premise of it. We try to break down beer in the least scientific way possible because we are not scientists. We try to make beer fun and informative. So if you're new, welcome. Thank you for finding us. Thank you for joining us. And you should find us on the social media. We are at the HO Podcast. You can link up with us, send us messages and requests and all those kinds of things. That's on Instagram and the desert wasteland that is Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us by email if you want to send us an email. We love when we get requests from our listeners or suggestions, so you can send those to thehopod@gmail.com. We are a YouTube product. We are a video product. You can find us on the YouTube and see the beers that we're drinking and the breweries that we're visiting and our beautiful faces. Just search for the Hop, a Craft Beer Podcast. And most importantly, we say it all the time, but we love it if you would rate and review the show on your podcast platform of choice. Tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe, follow, whatever they call it where you listen to podcasts, but rate and review. That is the best way to give us feedback and help us make the show better for you, which is what we are always trying to do. So thank you for those who have done it. And if you haven't done it, you could do it right now. It takes like 30 seconds.
Not even.
Yeah. So
as always, let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. Let's say you're a small brewery, you're brand new, and you think you can't get the word out. Hit up your boys. If we can get the beer, we'll get it. We'll drink it. We'll talk about it. We'll give you that shining spotlight because we're nice people. We are here for you guys.
And with that, we are going to dive into the beer news of the moment.
Beer news.
Not a whole lot going on. The beer world, as we all are, is transitioning into the new year, getting caught up on all of the missed emails and things that we had lying around in our inboxes. So there's not a lot happening. There are we've seen some brands unveil new looks of late, including Jack's Abbey and Dogfish Head, 2 breweries that have been on our show, and the new looks are pretty sick, so I recommend you check them out, especially Dogfish.
They would, Dogfish Head, I think, would get a higher rating in Can Arts and Crafts, but Jack's Abbey did not, it's not a low score. It looks nice. They've got their classic logo shape, and it's just cool. But yeah, it's interesting to see a little rebranding. Never hurt anybody.
A little refresh, breath of fresh air. Along with that, we are seeing breweries release their calendars for the new year. We don't pay much attention to it, but you're seeing a lot of those come out, 2023 calendars of beer releases and stuff like that. So if you're interested, check out wherever you get your beer news, and you can read what your favorite brewery is going to do in the new year. And we should throw out a happy dry January to those who celebrate that. I kind of doubt that you do if you're listening to this, but maybe.
If you're doing dry January, hey, you're stronger than we are. Or you're definitely stronger than me, because we could only drink for their episodes, but nah.
We
sorry about that.
Admittedly, are not. But if you're doing it, good for you. You're a healthier person than we are. And
I heard someone say damp January, and I think I'm going to go in that direction because I'm not chugging alcohol, but I'm also not drinking. So damp January sounds about right.
Well, what's funny is we see a lot of these brands. We had Athletic Brewing on the show, and of course, non-alcoholic beer is a big thing. So we see a lot of brands that are actually pitching the opposite of dry January. They're like, nah, stay wet. Just, have one of ours.
For the love of God, we can't take another hit. Yeah. All right. Let's dive right in. So along with New Year's, snowballing right off of that, we are going to see some New Year predictions in the beer world. These are predictions coming from all sorts of the internet, e-commerce platforms and whatnot, basically saying what they think is going to happen with these good old drinks we've been drinking. And right off the bat, I'm pretty excited about this because I feel like they don't get their due a lot. Lagers are expected to make a comeback. They took the top spot among beer styles of choice, surpassing hard seltzer by 1 point. So they're going to make a comeback in 2023. The fact that they only beat hard seltzer by 1 point is a little hard to swallow, but we'll take a victory. A W's a W. We'll take it. We're excited for it. RTDs, ready to drink cocktails, that's what they're called, are expected to remain popular. Those have definitely been a huge increase across everywhere, honestly, because you could spend the money to get the bar tools and spend the money to get the bitters and this and that, or you can just pay once real quick and get a little bottle with everything in it, and it's perfectly made by someone, not me.
Chemists and such.
Remember the whole science thing? Yeah, not us. Anyway, drinkers are also leaning towards portability, adding to the popularity of the RTDs, those ready-to-drink cocktails and portable cans. This is something I see all the time in New York. And I would also like to add on the portability side, Steven, have you seen these adult Capri Suns?
No. Well, didn't we report about it like a long time ago? That
yeah, the pouches.
They're out. I haven't seen them.
They're out. They're out. I am almost certain they're to go. But yeah,
the question is it legal in New York yet to drink that shit outside? Because someone on this podcast, I'm not going to say who, but it was one. You got a 50-50 shot. One of us may or may not have gotten a ticket from a cop for drinking. In Central Park, apparently you can't do that in that state.
Yeah,
so.
You still, whoever that person is, might still be paying that off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it was, but their name began with an S or a G, and they're on this. They're on this podcast right now. I'll say that.
I don't believe you can walk around with it, but it's to go. Drink it in your home, or if you're sitting outside, maybe not now because it's cold, but if you're sitting outside a restaurant, go for it. We're also expecting to see rum become quite popular this year, along with lower-priced sparkling wine options. And I will say that is correct because along with rum and sparkling wine, I'm also seeing restaurants with wine-based liquors. Our old neighborhood in East Harlem, Santiago's, that place, Beer Garden, beautiful spot. They don't have liquor. So if you're getting a margarita, you're getting a wine-based liquor. So
like wine-based cocktails?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But
weird.
Along with that, it's times are changing. It's really weird. It's kind of cool to see, but it's something that we're definitely going to keep an eye on. And we all love a good prosecco. So
sure, it's great.
It works.
That's super weird. I want to go there and try a wine-based margarita. I feel like I'd have some thoughts, but
here's the thing: it was very, very good.
Oh, really? Oh,
that's all I'm trying to say.
Huh? I'll have to pop over to New York for that one. All right. Well, this has all been fun. And now,
oh man,
it's time to kill the mood.
Oh god, here we go.
Yes, we have to say goodbye to some breweries, and this one hits close to home because they happened very suddenly in the city of Los Angeles. So, pour one out for King Harbor Brewing, brewery based in Redondo Beach. They closed all 3 of their locations with just a couple days' notice. Basically, the day after Christmas, they posted a post on social media that just said, "It's been a wild ride, but the time has come to close the doors for good." The doors were closed by New Year's Eve. And again, they had 3 locations. They had a brewery and 2 brew pubs. And they closed all 3 of them like that. So that sucks. And then this one hurts more on a personal note, but Mumford Brewing, they were in downtown LA. They had a dope spot there that I went to fairly recently, and they also have closed their doors. They posted a post saying, "The last few years have been tough on the business and hard on the industry in general. At this point, we've made the hard choice to shut our doors. It's been a wild 7.5 years since we opened, and we truly appreciate the people that have supported us along the way, our customers, our staff, the breweries we have collaborated with, and everyone who helped along the way." And Mumford, I saw some terrible stand-up there at an open mic. It was horrific, but the beer was good. LA's beer scene is, there's breweries popping up all over the place. But with that comes some closures. But it's the sudden nature of it, really, for me, that was sort of shocking. Mumford, I mean, to the point that they said they still have some keg, like they closed so suddenly, they still had beer. So they're like, yeah, there's going to be like pop-up, like where you can like stop in, but like they'll put it out on Instagram real quick and be like, come get some beer today. And so they are still, I think still trying to work through the beer they had, but it's just so sudden and depressing. Yeah.
Even with King Harbor, all 3 after Christmas. Jeez. So much for the holidays being right. So much for a Merry Christmas, am I right?
Right. I mean, between Christmas and New Year's, they shut their 3 locations. That's announcing it on Christmas and it's done by New Year's. That's just more sudden than we're used to seeing. So definitely a bummer. But there you go.
We'll pour one out for them today.
Well, we don't have any other news to spin it around, so we're just going to do a toast and we'll drink about it.
Anyway, 2023, am I right? Yeah.
I didn't even pick what toast music I want. Let's go classic. Let's start off the new year.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to Deschutes. Deschutes is in Oregon, the state of Oregon, which is only the 2nd Oregon brewery ever to be on the hop. So this is an excerpt of a poem appropriately titled Oregon by Dorothy Collins Aaliyah. Oregon, Oregon, hidden in the rain. Who has ever left you but comes to you again? Again. Ships sail north, though it teem, though it pour, to a misty gray river and a green grassy shore. Forest fires in summertime, burning leaves in fall. When it isn't raining, there's smoke over all the green hills of Oregon. The stranger cannot see the jealous hidden mountains, the guarded sleeping sea. The scent of the pine lands and wet cord wood gets into the heart and into the blood. And all a man can think of is music sounding plain when the flumes are running full in a downpour of rain.
So it rains there a lot.
That is the sense I'm getting from old Dorothy. She also, I love when poets rhyme something like rain with the word again. And I love, I love when they rhyme something like wood with blood. It's sort of like, doesn't really go together.
The spelling's there, but the
wet cord wood into the blood.
Into the blood.
Anyway,
interesting. Well, thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dorothy. I guess it rains a lot in Oregon.
Bummer.
But that makes for good hops, and that's why all of the hops come from the Pacific Northwest, because it rains a lot there. See,
we can spin it if we want to.
Okay, let's go drinking. I get to go first today. We are doing one shared beer later. We're kicking things off separately, and I'm starting it off with the Black Butte Porter.
Okay.
The black.
So let's just stop here. Is it actually butt?
Yes.
Because I really hope it is.
That's like definitely got to be how you pronounce that. I don't know how else would you the Black Butte?
I got to be honest. I was waiting for you to say something along the lines of like, it's the black Butte Porter. And for me to be like, nah, it's butt.
No, that's
I like butt.
It's Butte. You can draw your own conclusions. But to me, that's butt.
It's a big old butt porter.
Black butt. But it's it's the beer that started it all. This is the beer that put them on the map. This, and from the bottle it says, this is the beer that started it all, named for iconic black butt towering high above Central Oregon and seen for miles. Is that a mountain? Maybe that's a mountain. This surprisingly balanced porter has notes of rich chocolate and coffee, a luscious creaminess, and roasted finish. No wonder it's America's favorite.
Oh.
It is 5.5% ABV. IBUs are at 30. BeerAdvocate has it at 93. Untapped has it at 3.81. And it also garnered a 91 from Beer Connoisseur.
Wow.
Here it is in the glass. Let me hide the label.
That better be good.
Other brewery. It's jet black. It's a 40. Definitely rich black porter. Porter is a style that we don't have as much on the show. And it's a style that's kind of slept on. It's not as rich as a stout. It's generally a little cleaner than that. It's an English style. So it generally has some of those, flavors that we're used to with like a stout, but it's not quite as rich. It's a little bit more crisp and clean, typically.
Well, and when done super right, you still get those chocolate notes, sometimes those espresso notes, depending on the beer. So I'm interested. 93 and a 91. Okay.
Oh yeah, people like this beer for sure.
People know the black butt. Yeah. They certainly like the black butt. Okay.
I hope that's what it's called. Maybe it's black. I don't know. Whatever. It's black butt to us.
Come on, guys. Did you think we were gonna do research? Like, come on.
We said we're not scientists. It poured with a rich tan, like cola-like head, and lots of retention. It just sort of sat there for a long time. It has since receded into this ring around the glass, but we got some nice lacing. It looks rich. It looks creamy. And again, 40 on the SRS chart. Just jet black little beer. The malts in here are 2-row, chocolate, wheat, crystal, and carapils. The hops are Cascade and
Tettnang.
Yes, the Tettnang.
How about
hop.
that there Tettnang and that there black butt? It's going to be a long episode.
We got a good one for you today. From their website, bold reputation, soft disposition, surprising balance. Behold, an iconic and unexpectedly complex porter that's more than meets the eye. I'm going to smell it now.
And I can't wait for you to talk about this, but I'm going to spoil it a little bit. There are other versions of this one. Some are more epic than the rest, but this is definitely one that they like to experiment with, it seems. I didn't know this was the beer that started it all, so that's pretty epic. So how does the black butt smell?
The black butt smells great. I mean, honestly, just something you really want to have your nose in. It's it's really toasty, roasted malt, lots of what you'd expect, lots of cocoa. I will say when I poured it just earlier, it was nowhere near my face. I was just pouring it to get, I was doing it for the gram, and it was, I could smell the chocolate from a mile away. Lots of that malt bill is really complex, and there are chocolate malt in there, which adds to that sort of espresso thing, but also they're just obviously really roasted because it is a porter, so you get that darkness. There's a little bit of fruitiness to it as well. Some maybe some plum or raisin, some of those darker fruit characters, as well as a little bit of booziness. And because it's spicy, I might call it rum. Just a hint, as a note, not saying that that it was aged in rum barrels or anything like that, but I'm excited for it. And it also, there's like this vanilla thing that you get on porters a lot. I don't know how, like a creamy quality to it on the nose that I assume will be there on the taste as well. We will find out. Here's to black butts. I'm gonna drink it now.
Drink that black butt. Porters are awesome. We've had our fair share. We try to get them on the show as much as we can. And I've found that with porters, usually the carbonation is always a little amped up in a way, and that kind of just like brings the other flavors so much more forward. So I'm wondering, how is it carbonated? Is it bringing those chocolate vanilla-y notes forward, or is it just like a normal beer where smell is one thing and taste is another?
So the taste really follows through on the nose, which is nice.
Sweet.
I think that this has more flavor than some other porters I've tried. Sometimes the porters, because they are that sort of crisp and, clean English style, sometimes the nose is promising so much that the taste doesn't really follow through on. This, I think, does. It's very, very bitter up front. It's dark. It's burned, or burnt. It's that roasted quality. As you kind of swirl it around in your mouth, there's a lot of other very subtle notes that are sweet, that are, some berries a little bit, maybe some raspberry. Definitely the raisin is there again. The vanilla is there. There's a booziness there, and there's like I don't know how else to describe it other than like Coca-Cola. There's like a cola quality to it.
Yeah.
The mouthfeel the carbonation is pretty moderate. But it's very dry. It's very crisp. It's pretty clean in the mouth. It's pretty easy to drink, and the back end is just like I feel like I just ate some like burnt popcorn or something right now. Like it's heavy, lingering bitterness. Like the flavor sticks with you.
But correct me if I'm wrong, it's the burnt popcorn, but it tastes good. Yeah,
it's just a lingering like bitterness on the back of your palate that's definitely there to stay. Like it's not like it's not a beer that's just hiding. It's not a Pilsner, you know what I mean? It's not there to just like play second fiddle to other things. This beer wants you to know that she's there, and she's saying, "Look at my black butt."
We were all thinking it. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
How much can we kill that joke? That's really what we're going for today.
We're gonna drive it 6 feet into the ground, bury it, and then unbury it and keep going with it. Because how could we not?
Because again, we're not scientists, and we also are not mature. This is really good.
We're not.
This is it's excellent, and it's a style, again, as we've said, that just isn't done as much especially in this country. And so, this brewery that's been doing it since, we'll get into it, but they've been doing this since the 80s, this beer since the 80s, and it's very popular for a reason. It's excellent. And you alluded to it, but yeah, there are a bunch of other versions. They have done a raspberry version. They've done a non-alcoholic version for you dry January people. So there's that. There's a whiskey version of it, which we, why not?
Say less.
There's an imperial porter, which I'm fascinated by because porters do not tend to be very high ABV, but they do have an imperial version of this. That's 11.1%. And if you're like, that's not boozy enough for me, I like my beer stronger than 11.1, don't worry. They have black butt to the third, and that shit is 15% ABV. So
bang! Exclamation point!
That would
yes, indeed.
Make you feel some type of way.
And it's aged in some sort of barrel. I forget which one, right? But it's in something.
The 15%er? Yeah, I do believe.
Oh, yeah.
I do believe it was. I will check the tape, and we'll get back to you when we get into what's on tap. But yeah, I don't even know if it's still there now or if it's just something they did in the past. But just the fact that they even did it is like breathtaking to me. So,
yeah. Hey.
Big ups to Deschutes.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, let's pass the torch to you. You're going in a wholly different direction, so let's
am.
Let's do that.
Let's go farming, Steven. I've got the Grower Direct, the farm. Oh, the green screen again with this shit. All right, I'll hold it against my shirt. I've got the Grower Direct Farm Focused IPA. This was a beer that the brewery describes as, quote, pays homage to the farms that grow the hops brewers use every day. I thought this was very interesting. We have a lot of IPAs, but nothing kind of quite like this. So I said, why the hell not? So here we go. It is 7% ABV, 50 IBUs. BeerAdvocate gave it an 85. Untapped gave it a 3.75. This is what we got in the glass. Tyrion is here today. Say hello. He drinks and he knows things. So palish orange, I would say maybe between like a 5 and a 7. It's a little lighter where I am as opposed to on camera, but about between a 5 and a 7 on the SRM chart. I do see a little bit of sediment in the bottom. That, again, as we always say, that is not a bad thing. But sometimes with beers, that tends to happen, and it just makes it that much more tasty. You get a little snack. The quote from the brewery says, as I mentioned, pays homage. The beer features a mix of hops from CLS Farms in the Yakima Valley. That includes El Dorado, Cashmere, Centennial, Nugget, and Triumph. Nugget. It is hoppy beer poetry. Nugget. That's the type of beer it is. Before I get into the beer, I want to quickly mention the farm that where the hops come from. CLS Farms, they say they are a 5th-generation family farm located in the heart of Yakima Valley. We produce high-quality hops and organically certified apples and soft fruit through a progressive agronomic approach and sustainable cultivation techniques. Thank you, CLS Farms, for gracing us with this beer, these hops. I am very excited. I'm going to give it a little sniff.
They have this brewery, I would say, so they started with a porter, but I would say, their bread and butter is their IPAs. Again, coming from the Pacific Northwest, that's just where a lot of the hops come from. The Yakima Valley is up that way. So a lot of American hops, in fact, most American hops do come from that area. So they have, if you look at their website, a ton of what they call their fresh series. And we're talking everything from, Imperial IPAs, hazy IPAs, West Coasters, all the kind of stuff. And this is one of those. However, this one, I believe you can only get in their IPA variety pack because I don't see it being sold on its own anywhere.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I bought the variety pack. I could have bought 2 6-packs of just one beer each or a 12-pack box of 4 different kinds. And I said, there's life after the show. So I made a good decision. Forgot to mention very quickly, CLS Farm, they produce hops for many breweries, most of which have been on our show. Sierra Nevada, Bell's, Founders, Stone Brewing, Deschutes, Three Floyds, 21st Amendment, to name a few. They do a lot of good work, and we really love them. Okay, so this beer smells earthy as hell. Why wouldn't it? It makes a lot of sense. It smells hop forward. It doesn't smell too boozy. It smells like this is 7%. It smells like around there. It smells like you're going to get that little hop bite that you need, not too much, not too little. I am getting a little bit of citrus. That obviously has to do with the hops. I feel like I'm getting like a little bit of orange zest. It's a little dank, but not too much, but hoppy, earthy, herbal, a little florality, just a little bit, maybe like lemongrass, things like that. I think when you get a beer with a farm truck on it, you kind of know what to expect. So I don't think I'm going to be surprised too much, but here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. And it's an interesting one because when you start talking IPAs, like you have to look for subtle differences in some of these beers. And there's the 2 main categories. There's the hazies, and then there's the what I call the West Coasters, the more clear bitter ones. And it's really just about it's a beer style that celebrates the hop. And so it's just about the hop blend. And this is a really interesting mix. As Gabe said, it's El Dorado, it's Cashmere, it's Centennial, all of those. Nugget too. Triumph I'm not as familiar with, but they're all citrusy but bitter. And you can tell from the look of the beer if you're watching on YouTube, it is clear and it is not a hazy IPA. It's unfiltered in that there's sediment in it, but it's not a juicy it's not trying to be a New England style, So
no.
So it's interesting, and it's we'll see how it tastes.
It tastes good. It's throwing me for a little bit of a curveball because what I expected is it's half. So what I expected is what I got. Earthy, herbal, hoppy. The hops, the different hops, the mixture of hops, I think they really got this mixture right because it gives it so much more flavor. It just makes it that much more fun. It makes it more inviting. It makes it so it doesn't just taste like a normal IPA. There's a little kiss of flavor on the intro when it sits in the mouth and the back end. And that is rare. That doesn't happen a lot. Here's what I wasn't expecting. The malt is sweet. It's kind of like a honey type of flavor. Like it's a honey malt in a way. It's got a kiss of sweetness that really complements it so well. Now that I look at it, there is quite a bit of sediment. I only saw a little bit when I first poured, but there's like quite a lot in there. But who cares? I feel like that's just more flavor entering your mouth.
And Cashmere specifically does tend to be a fairly sweet hop, juicy maybe, but it tends to be fluffy. We see it in some of those New England IPAs, Cashmere specifically. And when you see Cashmere, a lot of times it's those like some of those like really juicy triples that are like very boozy, but also very sweet and juicy and like candy-like,
fruity as hell
and fluffy. Yeah. So so the Cashmere and the malt could be doing that kind of together, but it sounds like you're just drinking a garden, if you will, just a farm, just celebrating the plants.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a nod to farms and farmers, which, amen, good for you, absolutely.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily like, oh, I taste, this thing, I taste the carrots they grow. Like, it's not like that. It's a beer through and through. It's fun. It's inviting. I don't want to say dangerous because it's only 7%, but it is easy to drink. It's a very clean back end. It goes down way too easy. It's just a really solid beer. I would love more beers with Cashmere hops. If you want to wear Cashmere as clothing, apparently it's expensive. I don't shop for it. But if you want it in your beer, you can do it. You can find it. And it really does give it a subtle kiss of sweetness that I think without those types of hops wouldn't be there. So, yeah, works for me.
I love this farm. I'm just like looking at their website and I'm like,
it's dope, right?
They
make fruit year round. They make hops year round.
But they seem like a family. Like there's a nice picture of like the family standing there in the middle of like the farm lanes. I don't know what you call like where there's
the
stuff.
Farm lanes.
There's plants on the side, and they're just there, and they seem happy.
Yeah, the trail, the.
But they also
row.
What I will say is that these hops get names, and the reason that they get names is because certain farms or whatever invent them or discover them or however it works. Again, not scientists, but this company specifically, CLS Farms, does say they pursued their own proprietal varietal development and commercially released Eldorado, Medusa, and Zappa hops. So I am not as familiar with Medusa or Zappa, although dope names for both of those. But Eldorado we see all the time, and apparently these people are responsible for that. So big ups to the CLS fam for that.
Absolutely. One. Before we move on, I have to ask, you're given the task to name a new hop. What are you calling it?
That's good.
Right?
I feel like it needs, like, I like these hops that are like celestial, like it would be like lightning hops or something like that.
Yeah. Like I was thinking like dragon, like something just like, ooh.
This is brewed with fire breath. Like it's like, yeah, it's got to be something like, because something
that could just like hit you hard and make you go, wait, what? Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, I feel like that'd be a great job to have. What do you do for a living? I name hops.
I name the hops.
Cool.
Yeah, and who's responsible for Cashmere, by the way? Like, what's that about? Or maybe it's just he felt it was a fluffy hop, and so
somebody in fashion, obviously.
Okay, we should probably.
All right, we talked enough about the farm. Let's talk about the whole damn Deschutes. It is.
Let's talk about Deschutes. So they were founded in 1988. Originally as a brew pub. They were founded by Gary Fish. And, it's one of those breweries, like, I don't know if it's quite in the category of Sierra Nevada, but maybe it's around there where it's like, they've been around for a very long time. Having been around since, the 80s is just one of those breweries that's pretty big. And they...
chugging along.
Yeah, which is why it's like kind of unbelievable that they haven't been on the show before now.
Our bad.
So Gary Fish opened this place. It started as a brew pub in downtown Bend, Oregon. That's where the main spot is. And it's named after the Deschutes River. They pretty quickly expanded to a 16,000 square foot facility. That was in 1993. They then added an additional 6,750 square feet to that later on. They were growing. They were making moves. Gabe and I'm at the brewery facility, which is actually a new facility. Gabe's in the brew pub, I think. I think you're in the downtown Bend, Oregon brew pub.
I'm inside. I'm nice and warm, having a beer. Steven's in the cold, wondering why no one will let him in.
But there's a bunch of different spots. So there's the brewery, and there's a tap room in the brewery. And then there's the brew pub, which is still, the original brew pub is still in Bend, Oregon, downtown Bend. That's where Gabe is, I think. And then they have another brew pub in Portland, and they have another brew pub in the Portland airport. So if you want to stop for a beer on your way through Portland airport, you can do that.
On your way through customs, you can grab a beer.
You can, yes, at which we love. I love when there's brewery. There's a Two Roads. We're from Connecticut. Two Roads has a spot in the Bradley Airport in Hartford, Connecticut, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we love when that happens. I was going to Chicago, where was I going? I was going by myself. Maybe I was going to Phoenix, and I had like 2.5 hours to kill. I grabbed a beer, I grabbed a burger. I was chilling. I was like, all right, let's just make the most of it. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Anyway.
I love it. As of 2016, Deschutes was the 8th largest craft brewery and 15th largest overall brewery in the United States. So, yes, again, it's one of those breweries that's just quietly chugging along, killing it, and it's not, also, when you see that, like, 8th largest craft brewery in the United States, you have to keep in mind that a lot of times what we're talking about is, like, Sam Adams, and then you have the Sierra Nevadas and the Deschutes and these other, and New Belgium and some of these, like, other independent companies. Not that New Belgium is really independent anymore, but
powerhouses.
Yeah, that are on that list. So it's definitely just a stalwart of the craft beer scene.
Beer for a Cause. They received the 2012 Sustainability Award from the Central Oregon Environmental Center and was named in 2011 as a, quote, Green Power Partner by the US EPA. They give back. They do what they're supposed to. They partner with several conservation organizations, including ones like Conservation Alliance, Deschutes River Conservancy, so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. They are a Green Power Partner, as I mentioned. They are a member of the DOE Better Plants program, committing to 10% energy use reduction before the end of this new year we're in, the 2023. So they do stuff like this all the time. They give back to organizations, purchase renewable energy through the Blue Sky program annually. They're giving back. It makes sense. The first beer I had, all about farmers, farming. You have to give back to the environment if you want the good hops to make the good beer. Ipso facto, it's like a circle.
Yeah, they do a lot in terms of sustainability. In addition to everything Gabe just said, they recycle, they compost their waste, they source local ingredients, obviously, with the farmers nearby. They conserve water. They save 1 million gallons of water a year, and that's a commitment that they made. They partner with a lot of not-for-profits, and they do things like optimize skylighting and things like that. Lots of windows. This is a big thing with and I know this from going back to my college days, lots of windows, lots of natural light reduces the amount of fake light that you need, reduces the amount of energy that you use. So their brewery is built to be sustainable, and it's a big tenet of what they do, which we love to see.
Their CO2 vaporizer saves roughly $15,000 per year in electricity. Can
I get one?
That's exactly. That's a no-brainer.
All right,
that's everything you need.
Let's talk about Roanoke. So Roanoke was kind of this whole story for them. We're talking about Roanoke, Virginia, and the company opened a tap room in Virginia around 2016-ish, and they had announced plans to open an East Coast tap room and brewery. And then it just sort of went on and on, this sort of when is it going to happen? And I think we reported at it at the time.
Will they, won't they?
Yeah, thanks to Miss Rona, those plans ended up being scrapped in 2021. The taproom was closed after 4 years of operation, and an East Coast Deschutes never came to be. But, who knows? Down the line, maybe still an option.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice instead of,
Yeah, it would have helped.
That would have helped. But hey, we made it happen. We did the damn thing. I just happened to be in Pennsylvania, and I visited a quaint little beer store, and they had the variety pack. So I was like, bang bang, let's get out of here. So, but yeah, no, it is sad to see Rona. She's a fickle bitch. And it would be nice for an East Coast tap room. Bring them all over here, because then Steven has to come visit here.
Yeah, because there's not enough beer that I can't get in California. I can't have any nice things. All right, let's move on to beer number 2.
Yes, this is another classic. This is one of the go-tos. If you know Deschutes, you probably know this beer. It's the classic Fresh Squeezed IPA. Look at that. Look, it's the flower is see-through.
The hop is missing.
I love that.
Screen. Yep, that's the way we work. This beer is 6.4% ABV. IBUs are at 60. That's what you love to see from a bitter IPA, is the IBUs in line with the ABV, and that's what we have here. BeerAdvocate has it at 94. Untapped has it at 3.91, and Beer Connoisseur rated it an 83. Now, I call this a hangover beer. Here's why. Because this beer, and I've had this beer a lot, so this is me analyzing it before we've even drank it. But this beer is a scary amount of juicy. It's also a scary amount of bitter at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's both a citrus bomb and a juice bomb. They have it on tap at the local place very near where I was in school for grad school. And it was just every time I had this beer, I ended up hungover. Yes, and it wasn't like I would have a lot of them. You'd have 3 beers or so, and you'd wake up the next day why do I have a raging headache right now? And so I'm mildly afraid of this beer, but it's really good. So I'm excited to drink it.
This is hilarious to me. That's so funny.
I'm just letting you know what you're in for.
Well, you're only gonna on the mics you're only gonna have one. Yeah. What happens when we end the episode is completely up to you, but I think you'll be fine after one.
Let's hope. The malts in here are 2-row Munich and Crystal. The hops are the classic old Citra and Mosaic, but here's the thing. This is it in the glass. I busted out my Game of Thrones glass because you had yours. So
oh man.
Leave one wolf alive.
We keep missing that.
And the sheep are never safe. It's I would call it cloudy, but it's not the haziest beer I've ever seen. And the IBUs and the ABV being in line like that is more evocative of a West Coast. So,
when you were describing it, my first thought was oh, maybe we got a Western.
It's kind of a hybrid of the two, and that's why this beer has come up on our show a lot, because I know I've referenced this as a sort of
hangover beer. No, we get it.
No, I reference it as like a pinpoint of like, that thing over there. Like it's one of those. It's kind of like the 6 Point resin for me. It's like it's a pillar,
right.
And this is one of them. So I'm drinking out of a pint glass.
I've got my classic B Hoppy pint glass.
Love it. SRM chart, I would probably put it in the 11-12 category. It's an amber color. Mine
looks a little darker, but I think that's because of the camera / the lightness in this room. It's I think we have the same thing. Smells very earthy and citrusy. I'm excited for this. Going off of I've definitely had this once or twice in my life, but I've never, analyzed it and really thought of it. So I think you have a better understanding more than I do. So just going off of what you said, it does smell a little fruity. It does smell a little citrusy, which is interesting.
It's super citrusy. It's a citrus bomb, but also it's pithy and it's like a bitter citrus. It's like grapefruit and it smells resinous at the same time. Like there's something sticky on the nose. There's something like hop cone on the nose that is not what you always see with the Citra and Mosaic hop hazy IPAs. This is more bitter on the nose and from experience in the mouth than a lot of those tend to be.
And like the last one I had, this one not as much, but sediment floating around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we get to eat while we drink.
The head was pretty rich, tons of sticky lacing. It's very sticky in the glass. From the brewery, savor every last drop of tropical refreshment with this juicy blend of citrusy hops balanced by a lively malt body. Juicy, sweet hop aromas of grapefruit and passion fruit. Hops carry through a muffin-like malt character, rounding out this full-flavored IPA into a thing of beauty like no other.
How's it going, muffin? Muffin has to be one of the funniest,
that's just
adjectives. It's just so
I don't know that that's an adjective, but that is.
What am I thinking of?
Noun.
Person, place, or thing. Yeah, maybe.
That's a muffin.
What's up, muffin? It's just so it's jarring, but it's just funny at the same time. I don't know.
It's just because we're not sure.
Yeah, it's nothing like that black butt. Am I right? Okay,
and cheers. Here we go.
Drinks up. Yeah, it's got that fruitiness on it in the back. It's only in the back end for me. Going down, it's a classic IPA, not New Englandy at all. I would even argue, you said kind of middle hybrid. I would argue it gets a little bit more towards 75% West Coast. I'll say that. I think it has really great flavoring profile. The malt is very strong, but in a good way, carbonated very nicely, goes down pretty well. I don't think you can slam this. I don't think you really want to. I think it's got just enough hop bite. I could always use a little more, but that's just me. BeerAdvocate gave it a 94. Yeah, okay.
For me, the malt is a solid backbone. It's pretty dry. The citrus is just so powerful. It's so citrusy. Would you call this a juice bomb? Because I would. There's so much citrus, but it's bitter citrus. But I would also call it a hop bomb. It's both.
See, when I think of juice bomb, I think of the New England style.
Yeah, but it's not that. But the flavor is so citrusy, and I think passion fruit.
Yeah.
Like the brewery said passion fruit. I think that's a good example of it's a fruit that has this deep citrus sweet flavor to it, but it's also got a bite to it.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Yeah.
This has a ton of bite. I mean, it's really resinous. It's really sticky. The mouthfeel is very bitter. It's moderately carbonated. I don't know that I would call it dry in the mouth, but maybe that might be the right way to go. It's just, and I think the reason that I tend to find myself hungover when I drink this is because the flavors are so delicious and so easy to drink. And it's only 6.4%, but it's very easy to slam this, and there is this intense hoppiness and bitterness that it's thirst quenching, so you don't think about drinking water as much when you're drinking that. Yeah. And all of that is a credit to this beer because I actually love this beer. I think it's so good.
For me, I think the carbonation stops me from slamming it. I'll try anything once is our other subtextual motto of the show. But I think for me, I would want to take my time with this. But yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the bite is there. For me, like I said, I could always go a little bit stronger, but the flavors really propel this beer forward for me. It gives it just so much character and just essence. And does it make sense to rank these? You going, is this better than the porter? Is it even in the same?
I hesitate to do it only because I think they're just so different. But I will say this.
I've got 2 IPAs, so I mean, I could probably, but what were you going to go ahead?
I just wanted to say that, I will say I have plenty of friends who all they like is New England juicy hazy IPAs. They, in LA, everybody, I like hazies. They don't know what, they just say that. But if that's what you like, this is Citra and Mosaic and it's juicy, and I would not recommend this to you because I don't think it's going to give you that. So in that sense, I think I agree with you on the 75% West Coast. I think the bite is so bitter that I like it because it's all, I love that. And then you add the citrus on top of it. But I think if what you're looking for is a juicy IPA, while this is juicy, I don't think this is going to be what you're looking for.
No. This is more, If you want that intense, juicy juice flavor, you want the beer that you kind of can't really see through. It's just straight yellow and it kind of looks like pineapple juice, and it's probably made with Simcoe and Citra hops, and it's 7.3%.
Yeah.
I think I would pick I think I'd go with this over the farm, but not by much. I think half a point more, but it's just because of the flavor. Mm-hmm. But I loved the farm one. I really did. But this one, the flavor is just picked up a little bit more, which gives it the stronger vote.
The flavor on this is excellent. Make no mistake about it. And I absolutely love this beer. Even
Steven, am I going to be hungover now?
You might be.
God, son of a. All right.
All right. Hey, did Bob Ross make it into 2023 with you?
He did. He passed out before midnight, which was really embarrassing for everyone. But He rallied the next day. I was pretty hungover the next day, but he rallied. He was like, "Let's go," and I was like, "All right, geez."
Bob didn't make it till midnight. Get the out of here.
I tried to wake him up.
Can Art and Crafts.
Yeah, Can Arts and Crafts. Let's get crafty in this piece. All right, Steven, we started with the black butt. Let's see what we got here. Well, we've got some mountains. A very old regal font. It looks like it's a big circle with a river running to a mountain, which would appear to be some sort of sunrise and or sunset, depending on how you look at it. Classic bottle, looks like a porter would be in there. You wouldn't find an IPA in that type of style and whatnot. Classic coloring, big fan, like it. The Farmer, again, kind of hard to see because of a green screen. Against my shirt, you can kind of see it. But we've got just a green label, Deschutes big bold red letters on the side. We've got a tractor truck full of hops, and I've got an appreciation for that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of wording, so it could maybe get lost. But hey, this beer tells you what it is. This beer literally painted a picture and a story, and I have an appreciation for that. And then we've got the classic Fresh Squeezed IPA. It's a hop flower let's see if I can get it on camera. Not really, but basically it's a hop flower getting squeezed by 2 pieces of wood with some drippings on the side. Nice blue bottle. If you know Deschutes, you know the red big bold lettering on the side, so it can't go wrong. I'm going to give the black butt an 8.5. I'm going to give the Farm a 7.2. I'm going to give the Fresh Squeeze an 8.7 because I think they're great. Big, bold coloring. Again, with the logo, really helps. Bob Ross is here. He rallied on New Year's Eve. I did not. or New Year's Day rather, I woke up the next day feeling just all sorts of ways, and he was ready to run, ready to roll. But that's why we have him here, and that's why this was another great edition of Can Arts and Crafts.
This brewery has a lot of beers on tap. Generally speaking, we do we'll lean towards what they have presently available. But when you go over to a brewery that has a lot of beers on tap and you're looking for something interesting or something to pique your, capture your attention, sometimes you'll see a section that says reserve. You're going to want to go there. You're going to want to clickety click. That's where you find a lot of the high ABV barrel aged stuff that Gabe and Steven love to see. And I'm here to tell you that black butt to the third power, yes, indeed, it was aged in whiskey barrels, and it's apparently an imperial porter delivering notes of vanilla, coconut, and chocolate with a creamy finish. Again, that is 15.1 ABV. So that is scary and sexy at the same time.
I am looking at the Home at Port Belgian-style dark strong ale filled in first fill tawny port barrels with added tart cherries. Chocolate-covered cherries, spice, fig, fruit acidity. And the logo is an anchor, but it looks like a skull face. And so if we had that beer on, that might garner a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on Can Arts and Crafts. Let me tell you.
If you were to find yourself at the tap room today, their beer list includes all the beers that we're drinking today, as well as a bunch of other IPAs, some lagers, some stouts. There's a molasses ginger cookie imperial porter. Sounds delightful. There's a Pilsner. There's a black
King Crispy Pilsner sounds dope. It looks really good. I saw photos online. Excellent.
And they have some sours as well. They've got this one is called the Dissident. It's a version of a beer called the Dissident. This one is aged for 9 months on 10,000 pounds of Oregon Marionberry puree. And then I wanted to point out where'd it go? There was a Belgian.
Was it the Wowza?
No, but tell me about the Wowza.
Wowza, low-cal hazy pale ale. Embrace the impossible. Light finish, full flavored, medium bitterness, yet crushable. I'll drink to that. It's called Wowza, and I want a t-shirt that says that.
The Black Mirror, by the way, is a barley wine, which, talk dirty to me. And then this is what I was looking for. It's a dark cherry Home at Port. It's a Belgian-style dark ale with cherries added, aged 12 months in port barrels, with Montmorency cherries. So
this is the anchor that looks like the skull.
So Deschutes, classic brewery, great brewery. Don't sleep on them. If you find them near you, check out their stuff because they have a lot of really well-made classics, and then they have a lot of interesting things to offer as well if you find yourself in a market that they service with those kinds of things.
Well done.
All right, Gabe, we have to get out of here. It is time.
One last thing.
Our last call.
Last call.
I have had a great week because I'm a little late to the party on this. Only a little. But I got into that Harry and Meghan doc on Netflix, and Harry's releasing his book this week, and so I just thought, let's talk some royal gossip, shall we? Let's get into it.
So, full disclosure, I know little to nothing about the royal family. Steven floated this idea for last call, and I said, let's you take the reins and have you educate me.
So sometimes I just like to really tell you what I'm stuck on in my own life, and that is this documentary. It's like this. The thing is that this documentary is like if you take like your favorite true crime mixed with like the Britney Spears doc, which was, it's sad but also riveting, and their Oprah interview, like all of this stuff together at once. It's like it's a soap
Is the Oprah
opera
interview in there?
They don't use clips from it, but it's like it's that drama.
That was a separate thing.
That first of all, I want to apologize to Meghan Markle. I know she's listening. I've been sleeping on you, and girl, you are the level of impressive that she is just I'm taken aback. Let me just start with that.
I think Steven's in love.
I might be though.
She got her big break in Horrible Bosses. She's in that movie, right?
What?
Oh, I just blew his mind. Yes. Okay. Very beginning of the movie, Jason Sudeikis gets a package at the place he works at. She's the delivery girl. Boom. What? You're going to watch that movie tonight.
I'm going to go watch that movie. I'm going to stop this recording.
She was also, apparently she was in Suits, but who cares about that? She's in Horrible Bosses.
But the thing about Megan that I personally, I'm admitting to this, I was sleeping on was how impressive she was as like a philanthropist and a feminist and an activist and all kinds of stuff like that in her own right outside of it's not like, I think when you follow the tabloid narrative, it's just he just found this actress from America and it's
right. Yeah.
That's
and you
not
don't
the story.
I feel like he's more at the center of the attention because he's in the family.
Yeah. And it's just, I just, they're just better than William and Kate. I don't know what else is like. William and Kate are just like, they're kind of like, they're a little boring, which is what the royal family wants. Like the real drama of the whole thing is like, they're leaving the royal family and all that stuff and what happened to Harry's mom. And I don't know anything about it.
What happened to Harry's mom?
Diana.
She got, never mind. Sorry. I told you I know little to nothing about it.
I'm not one of those people. Like I don't watch the weddings. I don't care. But I did watch like 2 seasons of The Crown, so I kind of was like a little intrigued from that. And it's just this super weird institution that like still exists and but to see what they went through is honestly like horrific for them and I'm glad they got out and I hope that they're okay. But it's really good TV though. I gotta be honest.
For the longest time, like I would say not necessarily growing up, but let's rewind to 8-9 years ago. I thought the royal family was like, I thought the Queen was like the president of England. And I found out that ain't the case.
She doesn't do shit. Yeah,
she doesn't do that much. Yeah. I was like, we have a president.
She does
and they
nothing
have a queen.
Now, but
that's not what I meant. Ass.
We're American. Okay.
We can make those jokes. So Meghan Markle marries Carson Wentz, and they go off. Tell me they don't look alike. Like
they do. They do. They really do.
His brother William, right?
Yeah, Baldy.
The bald one. Yeah. He looks like the equivalent of a human thumb. Like he just like. Tell me I'm wrong though. Like there's just something about him that every time I look at him, I'm like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, no, it's just like William and Kate are like the human equivalent of like a vanilla milkshake. And then you have Harry and Meghan who are like all of the flavors. They're like everything all at once. And they've
got sprinkles, they've got a cherry.
They maybe have mixed in some like cookies and like there's desserts involved. It's beautiful. And William and Kate are just over there being vanilla, and that's fine. But they are, I don't know. I don't know that family. Like, we don't know, whatever. It's just weird that the institution exists in general, and like they just have to be on display for. Like, they're just kids who were born into this family. Like I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
And anytime I see that, like in a TV show, fictional show, the narrative of like, I was born into this life, I was, my dad is the king and my mom is the queen. Like it never really ends up that great. They either rebel, take the crown and do crazy shit with it. We've all seen Game of Thrones. Or they like just accept it and become like kind of a jerk. And so it's interesting about the whole thing. One of my favorite things I've ever seen was Will Ferrell and I'm so mad I'm going to forget her name. They did like they were in England.
Was it Rachel Dratch And
yes.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I remember this.
They were like pretending, and they were like commenting like they were like Mike Green at a sports game.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Here comes the king of whatever," and like that to me was hilarious. And I just think like I've ignored everything else.
It's weird, and these people like when like the Queen died, God rest her soul. There were people that drove like 12 hours down from Scotland to like, well, I just had to be here, and I just thought I just need to see it for myself. And it's like, I can't think of anything that I care about that much, like outside of my family. You know what I mean? Like, obviously my family and my friends, but like I can't think of a celebrity or a politician for sure, or anybody that I like don't know that I would just like drop my life and go running to lay flowers at the gate if they die. Like I just can't think of. It's not our American sensibility. That's not in our bodies. We aren't built that way.
I feel like if that were to happen, obviously family and close friends excluded, I like maybe a sports player that I admired. I don't know.
No, like I mean, who's your favorite athlete? Like, I don't even want to say a name, but like, who? Pick your favorite athlete in your head. All right, like God love them, but they tragically pass. You're gonna get in your car and drive down. I mean, this is
if I can drive, I might do it. Like, okay. One of my favorite players growing up, the reason I'm a Chargers fan, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Sure.
If he passed away in California, I'd be like, I'll send my condolences from New York. Like that, I'm not going to fly across the country. All right,
but let's say he was in North Carolina. You gonna drive that on a Tuesday?
I mean,
you gonna call out of work?
Maybe not a Tuesday.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe a Friday evening, Steven.
Well, you're talking about making a weekend out of it. I'm talking about like these people drop everything.
It's a party.
Like, I gotta
he
go.
He died. Let's go hang it. No, that's very messed up. No, I'm kidding. But it's.
I'm just saying that there's something as Americans we cannot relate to in that. They had, especially with that Queen specifically too, like, I mean, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but when you watch the first season of The Crown, like it seems like it's this period piece and you go back and you watch the first episode and this lady gets like coronated and it's like when television's just been invented, like it's black and white and it's like nobody knows, like you're going to have what in there? You're going to have cameras and it's like, it's really taboo. It's the first time. That lady just died. Like that's the Queen. It's not like there's other people like it's her. So I get it. Like she's been there for all of their whole lives. I understand that in my head, but I don't understand it in my body. Like I would not, you know what I mean? So
I get that. That makes sense. We only have like 30 seconds to spare. I don't know anything. The Harry and Meghan, did you finish it?
I have one episode left. I'm saving it like I saved the finale of a good TV series.
So if you can, without spoiling it, what is it about? There's nothing really to spoil. Happened?
Yeah, there's nothing to spoil. We all know what happened. Like Harry and Meghan, like the British tabloids just like treated her horribly. And they were just poking at every aspect of her life. And the documentary kind of goes into like the mental toll that took on her. And at a certain point, her and Harry relinquished their royal duties and moved to, I think they live in America.
Wales?
No.
Oh.
I think they moved. Well, okay, I could be wrong. I thought they moved to America. Maybe they moved somewhere else.
I made it up. What are they living in Missouri somewhere? Like, what are they doing?
The point is, they gave up their titles. They're not the Duke and Duchess of Sussex anymore, and they moved. They left. They left the royal family, and that's very dramatic. And then now there's all this like stuff coming out about what actually went down behind the scenes. It's a peeling back of the curtain on a family that we don't ever get the curtain peeled back on. And that's why I say it's like, it's salacious. It's like, I mean, it's their real life. So I want to be respectful, but at the same time, like it is like watching like the best reality TV show and also the best true crime and also like the best drama all at the same time. It's incredible. And
I would love to see what Carson Wentz does off the field. I really would, because what he does in the offseason with his British wife, well, she's not British.
She's not. But she is great. And
I feel like she's got this like glow about her. Like I feel like, well, I mean, let's be real. You kind of have to be if you're, even though they're relinquished their duties, like they're still being filmed all the time. Like they have to be prim and proper and presentable. But I just feel like every time I see her, there's just like I feel like she should have like a halo. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
that's
she's
what I'm
just
trying
like,
to
it's
say.
like, oh, it's Megan. Like, oh,
this girl, this woman, this lady, she is a princess. And like I know that she's a princess, but like I'm saying, she is a princess. Like there's something to that you
if
and
she's
I
a princess, where's her tiara?
Cannot be. Well, I don't have an answer on that one, but I all I'm saying is
Slacking.
Megan, you and Harry, I wish you nothing but the best. But if for any reason that ever goes belly up, I'm available. That's all I'm throwing out there. Is just
Steven taking his shot. Unbelievable.
Okay, we definitely have to go. This has gone on way too long. Guys, Deschutes, thank you for another great episode of The Hop. We'll be back next week with something a little different, a little unique, and a little exciting. So tune in for
we
that.
told you we had some big plans for 2023. They're coming.
Until then, drink good beer. Be well.